The sole purpose of this video is to provide a basic overview and orientation of your new apparatus. This video is not intended to act as or replace individualized driver-operator training. Individual fire departments may base guidelines, policies, and procedures tailored for best practices. Pierce Manufacturing and Hughes Fire Equipment representatives are not liable for injuries caused from acts resulting from actions inconsistent with the information provided within this video and/or accompanying manuals. Refer to the Operation and Maintenance Manual for complete details relating to the components and features of this apparatus. Only trained personnel should operate this vehicle or perform maintenance. You are responsible for learning how to operate this fire apparatus under all conditions without having to refer to the manual while operating at an emergency incident. This video will discuss types of warnings and caution labels. It is your responsibility to locate and identify each of the labels and understand the importance and associated hazards. Warning labels will point out procedure that must be taken or action that must be avoided to guard against the possibility of serious injury or death. Caution labels will advise you that there is a risk of damage to property if certain precautions are not followed. Continuous training, reviewing of operation and service manuals, developing good standardized practices will assist driver operators with a more complete understanding of the components and operation of this fire apparatus. As the driver operator of this vehicle, you are responsible for understanding the function of each component of the apparatus, maintaining control of the fire apparatus at all times while in operation, make operational and functional changes while operating at an emergency without having to read operator's instructions or safety warning labels, operate manual override and emergency shutdown procedures immediately if a component fails to operate properly. Components location may vary with each Pierce fire apparatus. Review the exact location of each component prior to operation. Major inconsistencies between your vehicle and the information contained in this video should be directed to your sales representative. Safe operation of any vehicle is the responsibility of the driver operator. You must learn the location and function of all controls, switches, gauges, valves, inlets, and discharges. Due to a higher center of gravity, heavy trucks have a significantly higher rollover tendency than other types of vehicles. To reduce the risk of rollover, avoid making sharp turns, excessive speed, and avoid abrupt maneuvers. In the event of a rollover crash, an unbelted person is significantly more likely to become injured or die than a person wearing a seatbelt. In the event of a crash, unbuckled occupants can also become a hazard to other occupants, as they may be thrown around inside the cab. Seatbelts are required while in operation. Please refer to your warranty certificates for details and information enclosed in your manuals. Customer-installed equipment must be mounted to withstand road travel and comply with NFPA 1901. Modifications such as drilling holes or welding to structural frame components of the chassis are not permitted. Contact Pierce for instruction and review of non-structural sheet metal or other dissimilar metals for modification. Follow the radio installation guide for further assistance on installing or mounting electronics. Before placing your new apparatus into service, perform a primary inspection of key components of the apparatus, including all fluid levels, anti-lock braking systems, electronic stability control, and automatic traction control. Weigh your apparatus to ensure that it conforms to axle and brake ratings. Never exceed the gross axle rating printed on the label inside the cab. Exceeding these ratings could lead to reduced component life, personal injury, or death. Review the use of auxiliary braking systems, compression brake, exhaust brake, electronic retarder, and hydraulic retarder. Before placing the apparatus in service, refer to the operational maintenance manuals. Information on the operation and maintenance functions for the components such as the pump, pressure governor, and foam systems, along with other options, is provided in either the Pierce manuals and/or other manufacturer support information delivered with the apparatus. If you need more information, please contact Hughes Fire Equipment. Congratulations, Enterprise Oregon, on your new fire apparatus, job number 33279. Please utilize this 5-digit job number when referencing your apparatus with Hughes Fire Equipment and Pierce Manufacturing. We'll get started on a brief orientation of your new apparatus. Starting down at the face of the front bumper, you'll find attached to the right and left frame rail open-ended tow hooks. Moving to the center in the same vicinity, you'll find electronic siren and PA speaker system. Moving up onto the grille, you'll find embedded in the grille emergency warning lights forward-facing. As we move to the outer edges, you'll find headlight structure housing low and high beam and also a turn indicator. As we move to the side, just in front of the front tire, you'll find a side-facing emergency warning light. Moving up onto the top, you'll find the air intake for the engine. And moving down onto the fender well, you'll find a side-facing turn marker light. You'll also find just to the rear of that location the release mechanism for the hood on the passenger side, as well as on the opposite side, an additional hood release. Your vehicle is equipped with Alcoa wheels and Michelin tires. As we move back further to the step area, you'll find in the silver cap, this is your ultra low sulfur diesel fuel only. And in the black tank with the blue cap, that is your DEF 4.5 US gallon tank. On the door panel, you're going to find emergency warning information in addition with caution and hazard information. As we move down to the stepwell area, once you gain entrance, you'll find the master battery switch. Moving up from that location, you'll find the placard, which is manufactured by Pierce. We'll go over that in a moment. And then you'll also find comfort controls for the seat. Moving up toward the center console, you'll find your vehicle data diagnostic port. And then just beneath that, you'll find your vehicle data recorder. You'll also see on the left-hand side of the dash the ignition key. Here's some close-ups of those images that we just talked about. This is your master battery switch. And as we move to the seat itself, you'll find the placard manufactured by Pierce for Enterprise Fire Department. This has the VIN number, the job number that we're referring to, 33279-1. It also has gross vehicle weight ratings, cold tire inflation, your VIN number, and then all your fluid types. As we move to the dash itself, on the left-hand side of the dash, you'll find this placard indicating the height, length, and gross vehicle weight rating. If you make any changes to your vehicle, please update that placard. As we move further up, you'll find speed control. You'll also find your accelerate and coast switches for cruise control. Just beneath that, you'll find the headlight and parking light switch. And down at the very bottom for your cruise control, you'll find the increase or decrease speed. Also moving to the column itself, you'll find the turn indicator. Let's go ahead and now move to the center dash. We'll start on the left-hand side where you'll find your transmission temperature, water, and oil pressure. Moving to the right, you'll find the front and rear air. And then at the very top upper right corner, you'll find your ultra low sulfur diesel fuel gauge, and beneath that, the DEF gauge. You'll also find diagnostic information above the speedometer and tachometer. As we move to the right, you'll find your Allison transmission pad. It is a digital push button. Above that, you'll find the filter miner for your air filter, indicating the level of restriction. And then moving just to the right, you'll find your ATC automatic traction control. Let's move just to the right now, where you'll find some indicator lights. OK to engage the pump. Pump and roll is OK, and pump engage. To the right, you'll find your pull to apply your system parking brake and push to release. That's the yellow diamond. To the right, you'll find 3 switches, one PTO pump, high idle, and also an alarm reset. As we move further down, you'll find the mirror heat. You'll also find differential lock, and then also your regen information switch. Further to the right, you're going to find your Pierce seatbelt information sign, and that's indicating green, someone is in the seat and belted, red, they're in the seat and not belted. Let's move further down. You'll find your climate control. And then all the way to the very far right-hand side, you'll find additional diagnostic information regarding do not move your apparatus. You may have a compartment door open, or also battery information.
Moving further down, you'll find outlets for 12-volt access and then also door and window controls. Let's look overhead from the operator's position. There's a set of switch panels here. Let's start on the left-hand side with the emergency master. You have two lighting packages. You have the lower zone and the rear zone. And then moving further to the right, you'll find the rear scene, some future switches if necessary, and then all the way to the far right, you'll find your PA speaker and siren system. Just underneath this area, you'll find push-on reading lights that will be white in color. Let's move now to the exterior of the vehicle. We'll start with the pump panel area, and we'll start in the upper left-hand corner. First with the two master gauges. This is going to be your pump discharge. Just beneath that, you'll find your pump intake. These are the two master gauges for your pump. Moving to the right-hand side in the blue module is where you're going to find the water level indicator. That's the water level inside the tank. And then just above that, you'll find panel lights and also future switches. At the very bottom underneath the blue module, you'll find two ports, vacuum and pressure. These are for pump testing and they are currently plugged. Let's move to the pump boss, where you'll find if illuminated a check engine light, it will be yellow in color. Just to the right of that, you'll find a digital readout for the RPMs, and then further to the right, if illuminated, would be a stop engine, which would be in the color red. Moving down, you've got some menu functions here. First, the blue button will allow you to scroll through the various menu functions. You also have engine diagnostic information on the gauges to the right. There are 4 of them. And then moving further to the right, you'll find a red button. This will allow you to silence any audible alarms with your pump. Moving further down to the left to the 2 yellow buttons, you'll find a pressure or RPM. Those are the 2 modes that you have to operate within your pump boss, pressure or throttle. And then you'll also have information digitally readout located in the very center. To the right, you'll find a throttle ready, will indicate in the green color. And then just beneath that, you'll find a preset button, which allows you to program presets for pump pressures or RPM. Moving down, you'll also find your throttle. To the right, increase throttle. To the left, decrease, and push for idle in the center. Just beneath that, you'll find an audible alarm. The outer edge of that bezel will allow you to dampen the sound. You do have, when you exit the cab, this engaged for your pump to indicate that you are properly engaged. Let's move down from this location. You'll see the crosslays for 1 and 2, and then also your discharge, driver's side number 1, an engine cooler. To the right, you'll find passenger 2 and large diameter discharge, tank refill, and also your tank to pump. Located directly in the center, you'll find your fire pump primer. And I would like to point out that the white label here is an indication for priming instructions that you should have at least 1,000 RPMs for best priming practices. Let's move all the way over to the left-hand side of the pump panel. We'll start there first with the number 1 2.5-inch discharge. And then as we move just to the right, you're going to find this placard. This is your indication here for pump pressures. We'll talk a little bit about that. 150, 200, and 250 test pressures. On the left, you'll find the PSI, and on the right, you'll find the RPMs. Just beneath that, you'll find a pressure hazard warning here that caps may be under pressure. Be cautious when opening them. In the center, you'll find your large diameter pump intake. And then once again, up in the left-hand corner, you'll find your Shoreline inlet. This is an auto eject plug. It is a 20 amp plug. To the right, you'll also find a 2.5-inch female auxiliary inlet. Beneath that auxiliary inlet, you'll find an air inlet. And then to the right, you'll find your master pump drain. Then moving further to the right, you're going to find your master pump drain. Your vehicle is equipped with a Hale pump. This is the placard regarding the type of pump that you have. As we move just underneath the side running board, you'll also find the number 1 and also driver's side auxiliary inlet drains. Moving back up to the top, you'll find the number 1 and number 2 crosslay, also a dead lay indicating that there is no hose connected to the pump. As we move to the exterior compartments on the body, you're going to find 2 compartments on the passenger side and also on the driver's side. You'll also find a midship marker here. This is a turn indicator marker light. And then to the right, SCBA bottle storage location and also an emergency warning light. In the first compartment, you're going to find when plugged into shore power, this outlet will activate, providing power to the battery charging system. Let's go ahead and move now further back. In between the 2 tandem duals is where you're going to find SCBA bottle storage here and also that emergency warning light side facing. The compartment is now open. You can see there are retaining straps inside for bottle security. And as we move to the very rear section of your apparatus, you'll find this compartment roll-up door. As we look inside this compartment, you're going to find LED lighting inside the compartment. Let's go ahead and move to the very rear section of your apparatus. We'll identify a few things here. The vehicle is equipped with a rear dump. It does have the ability to swivel that rear dump from side to side or to the rear. Those were the release mechanisms, and also open and close. You'll also find emergency light, brake, turn, and also backup lights located on the left and right hand side of the vehicle. And then you'll also find attached to the frame rail closed tow hooks. There's one on the passenger and driver side. Moving up from that, on the left hand side, you'll find your hose bed lights. This will turn on the lights inside the hose bed area. And then just underneath the rear tailboard is where you'll find perimeter lighting. Let's move just to the right now, where you'll find your direct tank fill. This is a 2.5-inch direct access to the water tank female coupling, and it is a ball valve. Moving just above that, you'll find your rear scene lights. As we move up onto the top of the truck, you'll find a clearly identified walking surface. And then further up into the front area is where you're going to find the top hatch for your water tank fill location. Let's move now just where the tail lights are located. Just above those is where you're going to find your drafting tube storage location. It's on the passenger and driver side. And then on the passenger side, you're going to find this storage location for your portable water tank. As we look in from the rear section here into the porta-tank storage location, you'll find these rollers to make it easier for accessing that water tank in or out of its location. Let's move now to the two side compartments. Same configuration as the other side. In the center, you have SCBA bottle storage and also retaining straps, a side-facing emergency warning light. I would like to point out this additional sticker. I'll talk about that in just a moment. It's regarding your exhaust. And because of those extremely hot diesel exhaust temperatures, be cautious as where you park your vehicle. As we move now, we'll take a look inside those compartments. We do have LED lighting inside those roll-up compartments. And then we'll go ahead and move now to the rear section where the tandem axle is. In between the tandem axle, side-facing emergency light, and then also your SCBA bottle storage location. There's access for 2 bottles here with retaining straps. Let's move to the forward compartment now. Doors in the open position. LED lighting on the right and left hand side of the compartment. Let's move now to the midsection where you'll find a pan door on the pump panel itself. We'll talk a little bit about that in a moment. But let's move down now to your large diameter discharge. It does have a 30-degree angle on it. And as we move further down to the right, you'll find a 2.5-inch discharge. And then to the left in the image is where you'll find your large diameter pump intake. Just beneath that, you're going to find a caution or warning label, once again about pressure hazard. Because of those caps, it may be under pressure when opening them. Use caution. And then just beneath that, you'll find all your associated color-coded and labeled drains. Let's go ahead and move now just underneath where you'll find perimeter lighting also in the pump area. Let's go back up to the very top section here where you're going to find this pan door. When we access inside, there is a light for ease of maintenance and for visual operations. This is your large diameter passenger side discharge. As I move to the right, you're going to find the warning label here and also the passenger side 2.5-inch discharge. Just at the very bottom, we have a close-up of those drains. Let's look inside that compartment that we initially talked about. This is the pan door accessing into the pump area. There is a light with a push-button switch. As we move now to this side, we also have that dead load and then also the 2 crosslays. Moving to the front of the cab, there is a grab handle on the passenger and driver side for accessing inside the cab for personnel. You also have pull handles for gaining access. They are keyed. And then just beneath that, you'll also find the 2 steps with step lights. Moving up to the very top, you'll find a flat mirror and then also a convex mirror. Here are the perimeter lights located at the very bottom of the step area. And as we move inside the cab, we'll identify at the lower right-hand corner, you do have a foot pedal for your siren, and then also a close-up here of that electronic siren foot pedal. Let's look back up into the cab itself, where you're going to find a compartment just underneath the passenger seat for storage. And then we'll look now to the forward section, air conditioning, climate control inside. As we look overhead, we'll find additional switch locations and also storage locations. Let's move back outside now. We'll go to the front area where you'll find the release mechanism to release the hood. There is a pull in the very center just above the logo. You'll also find on the side of the fender a side-facing turn indicator and forward of that an emergency warning light. Once again, your Alcoa wheels and Michelin tires. Moving to the headlight structure housing the low and high beam, and then that side-facing emergency warning light. Congratulations, Enterprise Oregon, on your new fire apparatus, job number 33279. If you have any questions regarding this piece of equipment, please contact your Hughes Fire sales representative. Thank you and congratulations.